A very good evening to you all once again. Thank you for watching UBC television. This is the news tonight, the 10 o'clock edition, with me, WADULO, Mark Arnold, and Mugalu Mohammed on sign language. These are top stories tonight. Headlines: President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni to grace Soroti City campaigns. Still, Museveni donates a Land Cruiser to Bishop Akanjuna of Chigezi Diocese. The Prime Minister Nabanja to investigate Soroti Hospital land grabbing. And South Africa edged Morocco to lift Women's Cup prize. Once again, thank you for joining us. We now give you the news in detail. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni is expected to grace Soroti East by-elections campaign this Monday. Museveni will be drumming up support for party flag bearer Herbert Ariko. NRM Vice Chairperson for Eastern Uganda, Captain Mike Mukula, calls for discipline and calm in the by-election.
The situation in Soroti will be similar to this on Monday. In his capacity as chairman of the ruling National Resistance Movement, President Yoweri Museveni will lead the campaigns for the party flag bearer Herbert Ariko. Anxious and looking forward to the moment is NRM National Vice Chairperson for Eastern Uganda, Captain Mike Mukula.
The coming of President Museveni equally should not worry the supporters of FDC or the other political parties. The position is that we are in power. It's a government which is implementing its manifesto. And our interest is to see that we maintain the stability of the country. Now that the country is peaceful from the north to the south, this election should not cause any fear or distortions.
Mukula, who calls for calm and discipline ahead of the president's visit, reveals what is in stock for the people of Soroti East.
Our expectation of the president's visit really is to see that as the chairman of the party, he will be able to deliver and package the manifesto for not only the Soroti City East, the city, Teso, but the country at large. And we expect him to walk the voters through the expectations of the new leadership and the new member of parliament.
To have a successful campaign on Monday, the regional police operating in Soroti has also guided.
We have deployed enough personnel, both in terms of person and machinery, to make sure the activity is peaceful. So this is to make sure that the electorates can exercise their constitutional right to peacefully elect their own leaders.
This guidance comes in the wake of reports that founder president of the Forum for Democratic Change, Dr. Kiza Besje, is expected on the same day.
We are very prepared to receive our president. We have organized very well. We are going to receive him in 2 venues. The first venue will be at St. Chizito ground in Madela, and then the second venue will be at Marapesu Primary School.
Our people shouldn't be worried because the president can be in Soroti as a head of state, but at the same time, he can be here as a party chairperson, or he can be here in both capacities.
They must not forget that the president of Uganda is also the chairman of the NRM party. And when it comes to campaign for the candidate, the president definitely takes precedence. So they shouldn't think that they are going to disorganize the president's campaign.
Campaigns officially end on Tuesday, with elections slated for Thursday, 28th July 2022. Henry Okrut, UBC.
State House has handed over a brand new Toyota Land Cruiser to the Bishop of Kigezi Diocese, the Right Reverend Gadi Akanjuna. The vehicle was delivered at the Bishop's residence, Rugarama Hill in Kabale Municipality, by the State House Controller, Jane Bareche.
State House has handed over a brand new Toyota Land Cruiser GR Sport to the Bishop of Kigezi Diocese, Right Reverend Gadi Akanjuna, to facilitate him in his pastoral and evangelism work.
My message to the President, as ever, he has been supporting Kigezi, and not only Kigezi, the Christians, he has been supporting us in various activities. My message is that we are behind him. We shall, because church and state should have good relationship. So we shall use this kind of relationship to extend the kingdom. We thank him very much and we wish him success in his endeavors as the head of the state.
The vehicle was delivered at the Bishop's residence on Rugarama Hill in Kabale town by the State House Controller Jane Bareche, who thanked the leadership of Kigezi Diocese for being patient as they waited for the vehicle, which was a presidential gift to Bishop Akanjuna at his consecration ceremony that was held at Lower Playground in Kabale town on 29th of May.
Back the other one because it was not fit, and the president always donates only one car for the diocese. So we are supposed to take the other one which is not fit for the diocese and give it to any other beneficiary that is in a good line.
How should the bishop use the vehicle?
It is his personal vehicle. He's supposed to use it in any way he wants to use it in relation to his service of the diocese.
The head of laity for Kigezi Diocese, Reverend Canon Johnson Byarantuma Monono, the head of clergy, Reverend Canon Ruben Byomuhanji, and Bishop Akanjuna thanked President Yoweri Museveni for fulfilling his pledge and promised to continue supporting his leadership that has created development in Uganda.
This time, is the President Munonga. Kanu Mugambire, Otaba Chigaba Buijamu. Itwe tugamba ekituli ya mutima twakola twakwebaza mbere twamwebaza kandi twena ngo mutwebarize ekini cyango munonga konga ticho chonka atwena tukorera ibintu bingi munonga dayose nebimanya.
Bishop Akanjuna later handed back the Ronald Kaleo's vehicle that had earlier been given to him by Mrs. Bareche. Joseph Oko, UBC, Take 3.
The Prime Minister Robina Nabanja has promised to institute an investigation on the alleged grabbing of Soroti Government Hospital land. Nabanja made these remarks while meeting women leaders from all the wards and cells of Soroti East constituency in Soroti this evening.
The Prime Minister Robina Nabanja has promised to institute an investigation into the alleged land grabbing at Soroti Government Hospital. Nabanja made the remarks while meeting women leaders from Soroti East constituency in Soroti City. Premier Nabanja says Soroti Hospital land grabbing has to be addressed and also the hospital revamped.
Jenna Cheng told me before that the hospital land here in Soroti got problems. People encroached on it. And now they are constructing a blood bank elsewhere because they have no space at that place. So I want to institute an investigative team to and find out those people who stole the land, and we shall remove them from that land.
Nabanja asked women to vote Herbert Ariko, the NRM flag bearer, because he will act as a bridge between government and Soroti City.
We agree that there are challenges. We agree that government needs to do more. But we need to do more with people who are subscribing to NRM. Who will sit in our caucus and fight for you. All that we have got is because of the president.
Soroti City East constituency elections are slated for Thursday next week on 28th July. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Married people should always remember to front God at every step if they are to last a lifetime. Describing God's love as the glue that holds couples together, the First Lady, Janet Museveni, sought out married people to exercise patience, respect one another, and ensure quality communication for peace to prevail within their homes. Now, the First Lady was speaking at the closing ceremony of a two-day marriage conference hosted by the Bible Society of Uganda.
After identifying one another, a man and woman decide to live as husband and wife in total exclusion of everyone else. To concretize this, under the church marriage, couples often make vows, committing to keep by each other's side no matter what comes. Constant renewal of these vows is now sought to by one magical bullet to keep the marrieds together and stronger.
Husband and wife must learn to work together as a team because they can accomplish much more than they can when they are working apart.
While addressing participants at the marriages conference, the First Lady, Janet Museveni, called on couples to always front God in every step of their marriage.
Remember always that our Lord Jesus Christ offers grace when we fail. We are all scarred by sin, but in the gospel we find forgiveness and the joy of being washed clean. Let us be keenly aware that God's presence is part of a holy matrimony.
Drawing from her own experience, Museveni challenged fathers to be priests in their homes and ensure full-time presence in parenting.
Leave a child with the father.
Earlier, participants were treated to a cocktail of lecturers on resolving marital conflict and life in a Christian home.
When you come home, your children should actually come to embrace you. I don't know how many of you actually even hug your children. Hugging your children, simple thing. But that's an expression of that affection, of that love that a child needs.
An academician and evangelist, Reverend Canon Dr. John Senyonyi and his wife missed no words cautioning parents against being law enforcers.
Developing children into significance, they must be significant somewhere.
So it is important for us to understand that we are talking about a task that has been given to you by God to raise those children. And by the way, this is not just the wife, and I'm glad that again Steve did emphasize that. Many times when we are speaking about parenting, I make sure that I emphasize the role of the father. That the father should be present in the life of each and every one of their children.
After all was said and done, participants shared their experiences and lessons learned out of the first ever marriage conference in Uganda.
But the topics cut across how to be and enjoy a Christian marriage. And they were specifically targeted at the Christian marriage, which is one man to one woman to the exclusion of all others for life. So it couldn't have been more timely, especially coming out of COVID, when it was not possible to meet in such big numbers. This, I think, is a big movement for me. I take as a big movement for people now to go out and arrange more in smaller clusters so that we revive, because marriages were battered during COVID.
Responsible parenting is something that has clearly come out in this 2 days marriage conference. The moment you do not offer quality time to your children, in essence, you are running out from the responsibility of parenting.
And with this glaring evidence, calls for another edition were too loud to ignore. Sudat Kaye, Dokas Kimono, UBC News.
Local leaders in Lira have sent a strong warning to health training institutions against training half-baked students. Lira District Council Chairperson Richard Cox Okello was addressing the new Governing Council of Jerusalem School of Nursing and Midwifery.
Institutions training health students have been urged to adhere to producing quality students to guarantee safety of the patients they treat. This has been disclosed by the Health C5 Chairperson Lira District Richard Cox Okello while addressing the new Governing Council of Jerusalem School of Nursing and Midwifery.
You know, health is wealth. And if you have well-trained people, then we are sure of protecting our lives. And I know the professor is here strategically because the students who are coming from here will be a feed-in for the university. So my appeal to you members who have been given this mandate today is that you add value to what is already here. And I believe you leave this place a better place than how you got it.
However, the chairperson Governing Council, also the Vice Chancellor Lira University, Jasper Ogwalokeng, urged for support.
I want to assure all of you that I came back home to support this kind of endeavors. People want to talk about money, but don't be deceived. There's nobody who does not like money. But the truth is, I should give back to the community that educated me. So I want to assure the members that I am going to work with you people. I've already seen that I'm not going to be alone and I'm not going to monopolize anything. You are going to support my chairperson.
Jerusalem Institute of Health Science Lira is a private multi-health training institute scaling over 2,000 medical students. Ediolwa, UBC News.
Now, Uganda Broadcasting Corporation tonight premieres a feature story entitled Commander-in-Chief Files. The historical mini-feature series is meant to showcase Uganda's presidency through archival content of some of the activities performed and events attended by Uganda's president in the post-independence era. Tonight, in the first edition of Commander-in-Chief Files, we get to see what the President of the Republic of Uganda had to say 29 years ago when he was handed over the draft constitution in the then Mbarara municipality.
Welcome to Commander-in-Chief Files, and in this episode of CNC Files, we bring you what the President of the Republic of Uganda, His Excellency Lieutenant General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, said the day he received the draft constitution from Justice Ben Odochi and Constitution Commissioners at Mbara District Chambers early 1993.
Your Excellency, Honorable Ministers,
It is now my greatest honor and privilege to hand over the long-awaited report. I know these are more beautiful, Your Excellency. It's never too late.
Those are more beautiful.
They are more beautiful, Your Excellency. But you can see now what delayed them.
I will have both copies.
Okay. All right, Your Excellency. All right, I hand over to you. He has I hand it. Yes. Yes.
It was interfering with it.
No, it's all right. Okay. I have to go.
Okay.
All right then.
Thank you.
All right then.
First of all, I would like to say that this is really a moment of great historic importance. This is the first time that the people of Uganda have written a constitution on a democratic basis with the participation of the population. We should remember that before colonialism, we had some unwritten constitutions around here, how the tribal governments were running their affairs. There were constitutions. They were not written, but nevertheless there were constitutions. The difference between those constitutions and this one, however, is that those constitutions were mainly written by the chiefs. A good chief would bring in some reforms, and sometimes he could bring reforms under pressure and so on. But for the population, the governed, the people will never be in power, executive power, to be the ones to write the constitution. I think this is the first time this has been done. During colonialism, of course, although we are getting quite a few lectures from the former colonial powers about democracy and so on, there was no democracy. There was no constitution. We were being governed by orders in council. An order in council means a decree, just like a means decrees. Somebody will stand in England and make an order in council. It means a decree, like the one of all these means decrees. That's how Uganda was being governed for almost 70 years. So there was no democracy, there was no constitution during that time of the colonial era. Just before independence, our chiefs here were gathered, and a few politicians, and they went to Lancaster House, and they wrote a constitution. Some of these people were representing some groups. Many were not directly elected. And certainly, the population were not directly involved. So although it was, of course, slightly more democratic than all the previous ones, the one of 62 cannot be said to have been as democratic as this one, which you have just been through. That's why, therefore, I say that this is really a historic moment. It's not an exaggeration. I think time will tell. I think this is a turning point. This is a watershed in the history of Uganda, and I would even say in the history of Africa. Because Africa is not exactly abundant with ideas. Africa is not suffering from a deluge of appropriate ideas. We talk about appropriate technology, but we don't talk of appropriate ideas. I think we should talk of appropriate ideas in the same way as we talk of appropriate technology. So I think, therefore, this is a very important occasion. I'm very proud. That's why I asked my wife to accompany me.
Ugandans for the first time were vying to shelve the pigeonhole constitution which had been drafted in 1967 by President Obote I government, and also to have a whole inclusive constitution, a legal blueprint that would be used at all levels of administration in governing the people of Uganda by the rule of law in a democratic setting.
Some of us that were born in the 90s find it very interesting to see what President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni looked earlier on back in the days. And yeah, like you said, time will tell. We're still seeing some of those effects in the Constitution up to today. So let's take a short commercial break and be back with business. Thank you.
Vimba! Ni MTN Kabode Super as you pay mpola for this smartphone. Make calls, update your WhatsApp status, watch YouTube, and Google anything under the sun with 2 GB worth of data every month for 7 months. Simply make a small deposit of 99k and pay the balance mpola. You can pay in daily, weekly, or even monthly installments while you enjoy your new phone. So what are you doing today? Visit any MTN shop near you and get the MTN Kabode Super easy.
National Council for Higher Education will hold the 4th Annual Higher Education Conference on the 14th and 15th September 2022. The conference theme is Enhancement of Teaching, Learning and Assessment with Ordeal in Higher Education. The guest of honor will be the First Lady and Minister of Education and Sports, Honorable Janet Kataha Museveni. The conference will be held physically at Hotel Africana for only invited guests and open to online participants via Zoom webinar that will be shared under the events section at www.unche.or.ug. The keynote speakers are Ezra Nazim, Senior Fellow of Higher Education Academy UK, Professor Henk Gerald Sola, a Dutch organizational theorist and Emeritus Professor of Business, Engineering and ICT at Groningen University, the Netherlands. The National Council for Higher Education is receiving papers from researchers and scholars for publication in the Uganda Higher Education Review, Journal of National Council for Higher Education. For more details, send inquiries to cmuhumuza@unche.or.ug, info@unche.or.ug, or call 0783 040024 or 0704 800926 plus 256 39 32 62 140/4.
Hey guys, please let's have a brief meeting. See that? Calls, data, SMS, shareable among 5 people. What? And it includes free Airtel TV. Do you guys know what that means?
Means no worries.
Enjoy life worry-free with Airtel Smart Plans, shareable among 5 people. Use every day and pay at the end of the month.
They've also added Showmax. Oh.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
A World Cup in the desert? The first one in the Middle East. The first to be held at the end of the year? That's crazy. Get ready for spectacular moves, high-flying saves, unbelievable goals. Out of this world celebration.
Would you believe it? What a moment here!
All 64 matches live. That's over 5,000 action-packed minutes of the FIFA 2022 World Cup Qatar. Now that's crazy. Catch all the action only on SuperSport, your world of champions. On Gold TV. Love it.
Are you a player in the tourism sector with a struggling business following the COVID pandemic? UDB, in partnership with European Union, is providing financial assistance to businesses operating in the tourism sector. You can access subsidized loan with grants, loan with a tenor of up to 5 years, free business advisory services, and free environmental impact assessment. Visit www.udbl.co.ug/call for applications to apply. Deadline for submission is 31st October 2022 at 5 p.m. For more information, please call 0414 355 509.
Fun is our flavor. When we're together, the vibe is pretty alright. Our taste is pretty awesome. We are Uganda's #1 fruity refreshment. Enjoy Mirinda Fruity, Uganda's #1 fruity refreshment.
The Electoral Commission has appointed 21st Thursday to 26th Tuesday, July 2022 as the period for candidates' campaign meetings for the by-election of directly elected Member of Parliament for Soroti East Constituency and City Division directly elected Councillor for Pioneer Ward in Soroti City. During this period, candidates shall not use or publish any language or defamatory words which incite disorder, hatred, violence, or which threaten war. The Commission urges all candidates, their agents, and the public to adhere to the harmonized program and set rules and regulations guiding the campaign period. All persons participating in the by-election shall be required to comply with guidelines issued by the Electoral Commission in accordance with the Government of Uganda and Ministry of Health measures against the spread of COVID-19, which include social distancing, washing of hands, and wearing face masks.
EdTech Monday Uganda is brought to you by the Mastercard Foundation Center for Innovative Teaching and Learning in ICT and the Innovation Village. In May this year, the Mastercard Foundation Center for Innovative Teaching and Learning in ICT held a ministerial forum on harnessing technology to build resilient education systems. This exclusive event brought together ministers of education, their technical advisors, education development partners, technology hubs, and select EdTech organizations across Africa, as well as experts and teachers and the youth to discuss how technology can help build back better and more resilient education systems. This month on EdTech Monday Uganda, we bring you a special edition. We discuss the support that can be given to help Uganda build more resilient systems in education. This Monday, 27th June 2022 at 6:30 p.m. East African Time on NTV and 7:30 p.m. East African Time on UBC TV. EdTech Monday Uganda was brought to you by the Mastercard Foundation Center for Innovative Teaching and Learning in ICT and the Innovation Village.
Enjoy more GBs for the same price on Airtel. Shareable using to Gabonais. We have increased GBs across all your favorite packs. Now, 4 GB is at 10,000 shillings and 10.5 GB at 22,500 shillings, all valid for a week. For the heavy data users, enjoy 24 GB at 50,000 shillings and 50 GB at 100,000 shillings, all valid for a month. Dial *175# or use the My Airtel app to buy these and more affordable weekly and monthly data bundles on Airtel, the smartphone network.
A World Cup in the desert? The first one in the Middle East. The first to be held at the end of the year? That's crazy. Get ready for spectacular moves, high-flying saves, unbelievable goals. Out of this world celebration.
Would you believe it? What a moment here!
All 64 matches live. That's over 5,000 action-packed minutes of the FIFA 2022 World Cup Qatar. Now that's crazy. Catch all the action only on SuperSport, your world of champions. On Gold TV, love it.
Welcome back. You're still watching the UBC News Tonight. We'll now take you to the world of business. Now, the fishing sector has been battling illegal fishing, challenges associated to the sector. Fishers at various fishing landing sites across the country applaud government on the campaign against illegal fishing and task to work on some of the existing gaps. The Ministry of Fisheries vows to fulfill its mandate, objectives, and mission of transforming fishers' livelihoods. Let's take a look at this detailed piece.
guno gwe mwalo gwe Kagwala ogusangibwa mu district.
This is Kagwara Fish Landing Site in Serere District on Lake Choga. It is one of the landing sites that benefited from the government intervention of establishing Fisheries Protection Unit in 2017 to curb illegal fishing across Uganda's water bodies.
Time back, the enforcement was bad. You know, when people were got, some people were tortured, people were beaten, people were made to do very heavy work. So it was disappointing, and there was the total abuse of human rights. But now people are sensitized, people are told before enforcement takes what?
Of course, the lakes were totally depleted, but when His Excellency deployed the Fisheries Protection Unit, the lake was able to come back. Now we realize we even eat big fish nowadays compared to those days.
During a recent tour of landing sites around lakes in Uganda, discovered a new mode of fishing activities. At Kagwara Fish Landing Site, there are fishers carrying out their routine activities and confirmed having benefited from the campaign against illegal fishing.
Ebuvambi babijjeyo ddala bweyo.
Wali osobola okugula akatimba kamitwalo kalinga ebiri n'ogenda n'ovuba n'okomawo. Ne kati okuvuba okufunamu olina oteekamu ssente nnyingi. Omuntu wa wansi wano kyatasobola kukola. Wakati envuba kati yatandikira kati zitani mukakadde kamu kugenda mu maaso.
Challenges we face in the water, we are being ruined by the moving islands, which have rampantly pulled away the nets of the fishermen. And also we have poor management in the lake because illegal fishing is rampant in the lake. Despite that, we have the FPU forces around. Those forces are very, very few to cover the coverage of the lake.
Fishermen, through their umbrella Lake Choga Integrated Management Organization, monitor all the activities carried out on Lake Choga.
Of the Sustainable Development Goals.
The fishing community wants government to investigate use of 2.5 billion shillings used to set up this fishing processing facility that has not been operational since it was established.
And the government intended the common man like me to benefit out of that structure. But we didn't benefit, simply because the work which was done there was very shoddy and value for money was not realized. And this is why government has been abused several times, simply because some of the contractors who are given to do work, they do opposite. So, and I call upon the government to come up and start investigating this, because several times we have been mentioning about it, we have talked about it, even the commissioners from parliament came up to here, but no intervention, no resolution has been taken over this fish handling facility.
It is almost similar story at Panyimur landing site in Pakwach district on the shore of Lake Albert. Fishermen claim to have almost wanted to abandon fishing activities because they could not afford the recommended boats, nets and engines.
Now from to Panyimur here we have problem. We don't have a garden because all the garden which we have is close to the water. So the flooding of water is now already affecting everything in Panyimur Town Council. This fishing boat, it's almost ranges from 2.5 million to 3.5 million. And with these situations where people were facing challenges during the corona, they cannot able to buy even a single boat. But we call upon the government to come and support us, even giving loan.
This is Lake Victoria, Kasenyi and Bugonga landing sites where fishermen have not been involved in any government projects, like a Myoga and parish development model.
Programs za government ezimu tuziwulira na ku radio, ku TV,
amazima ziriwo okukka wansi ku mwalo zote ziriyo sinza na gama gye ziri ekyo sikiziganya nakyo olw'ensonga tuwulira bulizi nti waliyo oba nadi sisimenye limu by'obulimi n'obulunzi n'obuvubi ebyo tubiwulireyo emyoga tugiwulira bulizi tegijjako eno ku mwalo
baba yasobola okutondawo ekibiina nga bwe yatondawo Nakalema mu State House alondoola ebiganye afuneyo n'omuntu gw'ateeka mu State House amulonderereko kubiri ku nnyanja nga omuntu oyo ajja ku ground n'amanya ki ekiri ku ground bizibu ki ebiri mu bantu abantu beetaaga ki kyensaba president ekyo.
Recently, members of parliament representing constituencies around water bodies raised concerns and want the Fisheries Protection Unit to halt its operation and called for investigation of alleged torture on fishers.
And if all fail, in an urge to look for equity and generosity into the sector, we are going to execute and sue the entire Ministry of Animal Industries and Fisheries.
We held 3 sensitization meetings, and then after the meeting, that's when we would ban the illegal undersized boats.
Fisheries Protection Unit commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Dick Kiriakaija says there is a number of achievements made during their tenure, despite of the challenges characterized.
During the operations of FPU under the command of Lieutenant Colonel Nwagaba, he used the high hand because of the situation that was on water. And because of that, fishermen have remained with that stigma.
According to the State Minister for Fisheries, Helen Odoa, a lot has been achieved under this docket, like improving people's livelihoods. The ministry already signed a memorandum of understanding with Kenya, Tanzania and DR Congo on how best shared water resources can be managed and monitored to avoid bad fishing habits.
Our neighbors have been depleting the lake. For them, they fish as they wish. Now, it made us to have a retreat. We had a retreat in Kampala here, where my colleague from Congo came with his team, and we signed agreement on how we want the Lake Albert, George, and Edward to be shared.
Minister Odoa says the number of fishers using the lake and the high demand for fish on international market prompted the ministry to invest in aquaculture.
Enjoy more GBs for the same price on Airtel. Shareable using to Gabonais. We have increased GBs across all your favorite packs. Now, 4 GB is at 10,000 shillings and 10.5 GB at 22,500 shillings, all valid for a week. For the heavy data users, enjoy 24 GB at 50,000 shillings and 50 GB at 100,000 shillings, all valid for a month. Dial *175# or use the My Airtel app to buy these and more affordable weekly and monthly data bundles on Airtel, the smartphone network.
I remember the lockdown, when the streets were empty and our lives disrupted, when businesses closed and our livelihoods hung in the balance. Hospitals were full. We lost loved ones, jobs, and hope. Our children couldn't study anymore. We cannot let this happen again. We should not go back. Get fully vaccinated against COVID-19 and join the millions of Ugandans who are already vaccinated.
MTN Kabode Super as you pay mpola for this smartphone. Make calls, update your WhatsApp status, watch YouTube, and Google anything under the sun with 2 GB worth of data every month for 7 months. Simply make a small deposit of 99k and pay the balance mpola. You can pay in daily, weekly, or even monthly installments while you enjoy your new phone. So what are you doing today? Visit any MTN shop near you and get the MTN Kabode Super easy.
Government, under the visionary leadership of His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, has taken definitive steps towards building a robust, competitive and sustainable mobility industrial value chain in Uganda. The efforts are geared to interventions during synergies between the state, private sector, academia and development partners to promote local manufacturing of motor vehicles and auto parts, establish efficient, integrated, sustainable, safe and inclusive public transport systems, and promote the shift to electric mobility solutions. Kira Motors Corporation evolved from a Makerere University Innovation Initiative. The core business of Kira Motors is to develop, make and sell sustainable mobility solutions including motor vehicles, parts, systems and services in Africa. Through the company, Uganda has developed and brought to market the Kayola EVS, a premium zero-emissions electric city bus. The Kayola EVS has a capacity of 90 passengers and is capable of a range of 300 kilometers on a single charge, requiring 1.5 hours to fully charge. The Kayola EVS is equipped with modern technology, including but not limited to onboard Wi-Fi, USB charging ports, CCTV cameras, digital display boards, cashless ticketing system, automated sanitizer dispenser, sanitation bin, special seats and a ramp for persons with disabilities, multiple stage electronically controlled air suspension, and an Android-based infotainment system. The Kayola EVS creates immense enterprise value for a bus operator with its energy consumption of only 360 Uganda shillings per kilometer compared to the diesel equivalent that would consume over 5 times as much in fuel in a business as usual scenario. Construction of the Kira vehicle plant in Jinja is undertaken by the National Enterprise Corporation, supervised by technology consults from Makerere University. The plant is expected to be commissioned by June 2023. Bus building is currently done in partnership with Luwero Industries Limited in Nakasongola. Uganda has electric vehicle initiatives in several segments, with investment by Zembo, Borderwork, NFT Mobility and International University of East Africa championing the manufacturing of electric motorcycles with locally assembled batteries and battery swapping systems. These lighthouse initiatives are projected to catalyze investment by small and medium enterprises in the manufacture of motor vehicle parts, components and systems, contributing towards import substitution and ultimately export of high-value products. You are invited to participate in the electric mobility value chain either as a user or provider of value-added services in the ecosystem.
Hey guys, please let's have a brief meeting. See that? Calls, data, SMS shareable among 5 people. What? And it includes free Airtel TV. Do you guys know what that means?
Means no worries.
Enjoy life worry-free with Airtel Smart Plans, shareable among 5 people. Use every day and pay at the end of the month.
They've also added Showmax. Oh.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Welcome back, and now in the world of sports. Hilda Magaya scored twice in 8 minutes after the hour mark to hand South Africa a first ever Women's Africa Cup of Nations title as they beat hosts Morocco 2-1 in a grueling final in Rabat on Saturday. It ended a run of 5 finals without success for Banyana, who completed the tournament in Morocco with a 100% record, as well as securing qualification to next year's Women's World Cup in Australia and New Zealand.
المنتخب الجنوب افريقي هاج اللقب القاري.
Now, as part of the preparations to celebrate 75 years of existence, St. Teresa Namidyango Girls has vowed to improve its sports stock. This has been promised by the school headmistress, Florence Nalumu, during the institution's 2022 Sports Day.
There they go. Walking in the sun.
With Uganda lately improving its status as a sports powerhouse, especially in athletics, many have been inspired. At schools like St. Teresa Namidyango Girls, this is the trend that has been confirmed by the school headmistress, Sister Florence Nalumu.
We very much know that if children are involved in sports, even academically wise, they will be fine. So they are going to show us their talents, and that's one of our aim, to produce a holistic girl child.
This was during the school's Sports Day, which is part of events in the lead up to the school celebration of 75 years of existence, an occasion primed for 2024.
St. Teresa will make 75 years in existence come 2024. So we are encouraging everybody to join us, to support us, and we want to put up a very beautiful platinum block.
The Sports Day was a culmination of a series of traditional and contemporary sports, including in-sack rope skipping, dancing in a hoop, and the three-leg dress, which exemplifies teamwork.
I'm just encouraging all the parents to support the girls. They really feel good when they are involved in these sports. And mind you, we have many people who are professional in athletics, in those sports, co-curricular activities for a child. So support them.
There was also netball, volleyball and athletics whose participants eye better in the future through sports.
I would like to thank my parents for helping me to raise up my talent, and I would like to stand up for Uganda, and I want to be like Cheptegei. I would like to get medals and gifts.
It was a contest between four houses, Impala, Teresa, Nile and Africa, with the best winning a bull. John Barnes, Sentamu, UBC News.
Uganda Olympic Committee's Culture and Education Commission has climaxed its Olympics Full Circle project. This 5-month-long project was in partnership with several schools that have been rewarded for excellence.
With the targets of providing a holistic education, Uganda Olympic Committee's Culture and Education Commission rolled out the Olympism Full Circles initiative. This was in partnership with several schools that engaged in competition that focused on inculcating the Olympic values of respect, excellence and friendship.
the most important thing is this is not a one-off. These activities that we put in these books are supposed to be our day-to-day activities that we do. This should be the norm of how we operate when we talk about friendship, when we talk about respect, the joy of effort. It's not only in sport, but it should be also as part of our lives. When we are in school doing our exams, we shouldn't be cheating. We should be happy for what we achieve as young people, and as we grow into the future of this generation, if we instill these things, or I would say, into our lives, and they become the norm.
This pioneer initiative was a reserve for children between 14 to 21 years and attracted 43 schools.
We are hoping that sport teaches you the value of respecting each other and then also striving for excellence. A lot of you come from schools where within your motto excellence is heavily embedded, and not only excellence academically, but excellence in sport, excellence in your life.
The participants shared experiences from the initiative that reached more than 5,000 participants, and importantly, all of them youth.
You know that the 5 circles of the Olympics represented something, yeah? And now getting to know that, oh, there are 5 values. Start with the joy of effort, fair play, pursuit of excellence, respect and balance between body, will and mind, and incorporating all these things with, life. So it was quite fun.
They were from schools like King's College Budo, Tororo Town College, Bwera Nyanji Girls and Rugoji Ame, and have been urged to implement the values of Olympism into ordinary ways of life.
And that brings us to the end of our 10 o'clock edition, this 24th day of July 2022. Thank you for being a lovely audience. My name is WADULO, Mark Arnold, Mugalo Muhammad in sign language. Enjoy your last week of the month of July 2022, which starts tomorrow, the last week of this month. Thank you for being a lovely audience, and have yourselves a great week.
Hey guys, please let's have a brief meeting. See that? Calls, data, SMS, shareable among 5 people.